Hello, I'm talking to you from beautiful Brazil. Having been in Bolivia last week, we got here a couple days ago, and actually we'll be heading out to camp today to start training, and then the campers will come in another week in Sao Paulo. And this week I wanted to share with you about, a lot of times we think that camp is all about, the challenges, the fun, the games, and it is. I mean, we want to have fun. It's obviously a place for kids and the child at hearts, and we want to have a lot of fun, but that fun has purpose. And we play so that we can connect. And out of those connections, we pepper and salt and season it with all the love that we can so that we can build community. And eventually what we do is we open our eyes to be able to see the wonders of God, to be more curious about Him, to be in awe of Him. And out of this comes these amazing stories, what we call people stories. And it's something that really is what camp is about. It's about the stories that inspire us and move us in ways that the Spirit moves, and the ways that in partnership that God can reveal Himself and amaze us. And so I've got two of these people stories that I want to highlight this week. One of them comes from some counselors. We had a counselor from the U.S. and we had a counselor from the Bahamas joining us in Bolivia. And they got up in our ring of honor and was beginning to share. And Andre, who's from the Bahamas, started to share to Jake, who's from the U.S., and he said, "You don't realize the impact you had on my life. 7 years ago, I went to the camp in the U.S., in the Camp S.C.M.A, and you were there. You were a part of that, and you made a difference in my life." And we had conversations and talks, and we were talking about what it meant to be a disciple. And we were trying to figure this out. What does it really mean to be a disciple? And I remember you sharing some of your convictions and some of the things you felt like what it meant. And I took those home, and they really meant a lot to me. And I became a disciple with those things in mind. Not because of those things, but with those in mind. And Jake was like, "I never knew." And I think it's those people stories that you don't realize what can happen, and the conversations that can take place. And it's rooted in the Word, it's rooted in the fellowship of Jesus, and then the Spirit works later on. Really cool story. And so there they were, serving together as counselors, and who knew the impact that was being made 7 years ago. Another story comes out of La Paz, Bolivia. La Paz is up in the mountains. It takes about 18 hours to drive down to Santa Cruz, where the camp is. It's really kind of prohibitive to drive, and the cost, and so there's a lot of obstacles to get kids from La Paz down to Santa Cruz. But one of the kids, one of our nights, a group of them came up to me from La Paz. And one of the boys shared with me, he said, "I want to introduce you to my friends." And he had invited these friends to come to camp. Now think about that for a minute. Think about all the obstacles that could have been there for him to say, "Well, it really can't happen." The expense of camp. How are we going to fly there? They've never been anywhere. Will the parents let them go so far away? And it's amazing. The friends shared and introduced themselves and says, "You know what? I was a little scared of coming. I wasn't sure what was going on, but I came, and I'm so amazed, and I feel welcomed and loved, and I'm learning about God." And it ended up being 4 friends total. And at the last minute, this young camper's dad called me and said, "Hey, listen, we have 2 more kids that really want to come." This was like a few days before camp. And it was amazing just to try to even raise money, and so grateful for a church out of Atlanta, Northview Church of Christ, who donated some money, and some others that pulled together and able to get these kids to camp. But it's the faith of this young man who said, "I want my friends to come." And they had a blast. So it was him and his 4 friends, and they'd never been to camp. They don't even really go to church, but they're interested now. And they did an amazing job. And I'm so proud of his faith, so proud that he didn't let his limited experience, or he didn't let even the misleading emotions of fear or doubts or the obstacles get in the way. We simply reached out and asked. and they didn't have the money to fly. And so within 32 hours, I had reached out, and we had the money for them to come. And I have no idea what kind of impact this is going to make on these young men's lives. But what I do know is that young camper, I'm so proud of his faith, so proud of his friends. And it made me think about the friends who took the paralytic and tore through the roof just to get to Jesus. These are the people stories that are out there. These are the stories that are happening. Some I know, probably a lot I don't know, and I want to find out. And it's amazing, and that's the kind of things that you're supporting. That's your prayers, your text, your money, your ideas, your energy force that you give to us when we travel. These are the things that are making a difference. And we're going to start putting these things on our S.C.M.A website. We've got a section called People Stories, and it's under the Impact section on the website. So we're going to start, adding these and having a story periodically, not as much as the blog, that's weekly, but these people stories will come out probably once a month or as we hear them. And so can't wait to see more and hear about more people stories. Thank you for your love and your support. And thank you for, just believing in what we're doing for the younger generation, so that that God's name may endure as long as the sun, as long as the moon, through all the generations. Love you. Have a great service.